Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Good morning,
everyone.
Good morning.
The program will begin in a few minutes. Take your seats. While you're doing that, we're going to present a video that will introduce you to our campus.
It starts here, and here, and birth of an idea, the heart of innovation, entrepreneurship, one. It can be inspired by our outstanding faculty, or by the arts. It's then shaped and molded, thrown away, re-envisioned, started again. It's informed and tested with the might of a $500 million research enterprise. It's shaped by a global perspective, re-envisioned, started again. It's guided by alumni with expertise to share, advanced by creative spirit, refined by a community of the most talented students in the world, pitched to innovators and entrepreneurs, approved by expert council, encouraged, prodded, refined, tested, improved until it becomes fearless. Because we believe fearless ideas ignite bold invention, spark quantum advances, and drive passionate leaders.
What we're interested in doing is finding ways we can live on the earth and consume less resources, produce less greenhouse gases, and still be highly productive as a society.
First place, University of Maryland.
This project, it's a way of showing that Maryland really is great at what we do, that we have great students, great teachers, great supporting cast all around us. We have the best resources here, and we want to show the world we can do that no one else can do.
Philanthropy is something where each person can find their outlet, find their passion, and if they're equipped, they can really make a significant difference.
It was a real test of their ability to rise to the occasion, putting all of these various techniques to work, and they carried it off tremendously and did a phenomenal job with it.
I just don't think I would have come this far so quickly without the Instant Rewards program supporting me.
We want to think that universities are places for innovation. And certainly this country and the world needs that. Now, whether institutions can be innovative or not depends a lot on the people who are in them.
We want these students to aspire to be really good citizens, to take part in life fully, not to sit on the sidelines. And they are naturals.
The fact that this university has people who are willing to consistently push for innovation in a variety of different frameworks is pretty fantastic.
We hope that what we're doing is providing objective information in areas where it has hard to come by. And it certainly fits, I think, into Research University's mission of trying to be a global leader in terms of issues that are important to the United States and to the world.
From studies I was doing here at the University of Maryland, it occurred to me that the relationship of the bacteria that cause cholera with plankton could be measured using satellites.
This is not only about research, advancing the frontiers of knowledge in the areas of environmental science, weather, climate prediction. It is also about translating that knowledge to addressing practical issues, creating perhaps new industries, creating new prosperity.
We now have the largest concentration of Earth environmental scientists anywhere in the world.
Innovation starts with, somebody says something's impossible and you try to think of a way to make it possible.
Innovation is so critical to the sciences, to engineering, and broader spectrum of contribution to what we're trying to do to translate our ideas into real practice, but more only to create jobs for the state of Maryland, the region, and of course the nation.
One thing in computer science that we talk a lot about is finding ways to make computer science more accessible and to sort of show off the connections between computer science and other other fields, other topics such as biodiversity or health. I hope that things like LeafSnap are one way of doing that.
We've come to the conclusion that if we build the ultimate experience, it's not about zombies. I mean, people are out here for the zombies, but they're having the experience of a lifetime. And if we can continue to provide that and continue to improve, there's no shelf life. We'll do this forever.
I think that out-of-classroom experiences are one of the most important things for education. If you don't have an opportunity to be there, to go beyond the classroom, you're really limiting yourself. You can read as much as you want about the struggle and the daily lives of someone from another country, but until you're living with them in their homes and eating their food and walking their walk, that's where it all comes together.
We cannot really achieve health equity solely by changing an individual.
No one discipline has an answer to this problem. We have to work as a team. I think that this public health approach, in many ways, is a new paradigm, getting out of the hospitals and clinics and going into neighborhoods where people live, work, play, and worship.
We saw how much food was being wasted on campus and restaurants in the surrounding area, and we're like, we have to do something about this.
Our end goal is to have Food Recovery Nation, where every college in America has a Food Recovery Network chapter. So it's here at UMD, but we want to go nationwide and eventually global.
From research to development to launch, we are dedicated to the power of fearless innovation. We are the University of Maryland.
All right. Good morning again. And again and again. Okay. And welcome to the Graduate School's new student orientation for the 2017 fall term. I am Jeffrey Franke, the interim dean of the Graduate School, and privileged to be among the first to officially welcome you to Maryland. Welcome.
Got to get into this.
Let me take care of a few housekeeping items before we begin. First, we ask that you silence your electronic devices, but we invite you to use them to tweet comments and questions to hashtag GSNSO2017 during the orientation. If you do not have a Twitter account, you can email your questions to gradschool@umd.edu. Over the next many days, the graduate school staff, who are scattered throughout the two rooms, clearly identifiable by their red polo shirts, try to respond to all queries. Graduate school staff, please wave. Second, we have a full programming in a limited time frame. Thus, we will not be taking formal breaks, but restrooms and water dispensers are located outside the main entrances of both ballrooms. Third, we will follow the orientation program with a barbecue on McKeldin Mall to continue making new friends and get your picture with our special guest, Testudo. The lunches that you received when you entered the room are required, so be sure to hold on to them. If you do not receive a lunch ticket, please see a graduate school representative at the ballroom entrance sometime this morning. Finally, as some of you know, graduate school is also holding an orientation for spouses and partners of new doctoral students this morning in another union stamp, or the stamp union. This group will be joining us for lunch as well. Now, let's begin the orientation program. You and about 1,800 of your new fellow students are here this morning, with doubtless many others online. We are holding the orientation simultaneously in the Grand and Colony ballrooms with live guests and video feeds between the two rooms. So please allow me to introduce my colleague in the Colony Ballroom, Dr. Alex Chen, Associate Professor Emeritus of Planning and the Associate Dean for Academic Standards and Policies in the Graduate School. Well,
thank you, Jeff. Gotta get into this, guys. We have an enthusiastic group here, right? We have an enthusiastic group. here in the Colony Ballroom. And we are looking forward to the program. Let me also welcome you to Maryland. Our goals today are to welcome you to the university graduate community, to explain what you can expect academically throughout the next few years of your academic careers here, to let you know how graduate school partners with you to ensure your success, and to illustrate how graduate education transforms lives.
I think we need to let them upstairs know how enthusiastic you all are, so let's hear it.
You see? Not even close.
So take a look around. You have been admitted into a diverse grad school with students from around the world, representing multiple cultures, races, ethnicities, genders, identities, ideas, hopes, and dreams. You are joining about 8,000 students already on their academic journeys. We invite you to join in the intellectual discourse, which is built upon mutual respect and a deep-rooted curiosity. Together, we will make this an inclusive and safe place for us all. Now, it is my honor to introduce to you the President of the University of Maryland, Dr. Wallace Lowe.
Thank you, Dean Frank, and thank you, Dean Alex Chen up in the Colony Ballroom. Welcome, graduate Terps. Are you fired up to be at the University of Maryland? All right. You are future educators, researchers, and practitioners of our society. Your education is of fundamental importance to this university because you constitute 27% of all the students of this university. And we're very proud that it's entering class of about, 3,400 graduate students, approximately 2/3 of them MA students, 1/3 are doctoral students. You represent the future of this country. And we're very proud to have you here as Terps. I'm here to welcome you as new graduate Terps. And in case you haven't learned, I'm going to lead you in the recitation of the alma mater. We're not going to sing it because I can't sing. But when I raise my arm, I want you to yell loudly, Maryland, so loud that the walls of this building will shake, all right? Hail alma mater, hail to
Maryland.
Love, deep. Oh, how did the words go? Love for the black and gold, deep in our hearts we hold. Maryland. Singing thy praises throughout. Maryland. Go Terps, go. Maryland. Welcome, University of Maryland. I just want to take a few moments to share with you the nature of this university. And this week, we begin Monday with the welcoming of graduate students, and Friday, we welcome about 4,500 freshmen. Now, let me share with you my perspective on what it means to be here as an undergraduate and as a graduate student. These undergraduates who are coming on Friday, they just got their high school diplomas. They think they know everything there is to know. And after here for a while, and it dawns upon them that there's so little that they know, that there's so much more they need to learn. When that realization dawns upon them, not all, but most of them, that is when we award them the bachelor's degree. Now, some of them, like you, to grad school. And so you're here as new graduate students, and you know that you don't know everything. That's why you're in graduate school. But when it dawns upon you furthermore, that not only you know very little, but that your professors know very little, that's when the university awards you an advanced degree. Because you see, what is education but the progressive discovery of our own ignorance? because we are on a lifelong journey. And if a college education, undergraduate or graduate, we will all be learners for life. Because as the poet Yeats said, education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a flame, a passion for learning, for discovery, for research that will continue throughout one's lifetime. That's the difference between graduate and undergraduate. You are a research university, one of the top public research universities in the country. But there are three other qualities about the University of Maryland I want to share with you. Because the University of Maryland is no longer only a research university. Those who still have this notion that we are research universities, that is a vision of the 20th century. You see, in the 20th century and before, a university is like an ivory tower. And at the top of that tower, one thinks great thoughts, discovers new knowledge, and one transmits all of that to the next generation. But in the 21st century, one has to go a step further. At the bottom of every ivory tower, there's an innovation incubator that translates those great ideas into human impact. How to better educate, better feed, better transport, better house, better secure the nation. It is, in fact, the 21st century version of the land-grant mission. In 1862, on the eve of the Civil War, President Lincoln had this completely new vision for what a university is. Not simply an ivory tower to educate the privileged, but education for everybody and education applied for making a difference. And the very first research study here, what was then called Maryland Agricultural College, was examining the efficacy, comparing the efficacy of 10 different kinds of fertilizers in order to enhance agricultural production, because agriculture was, the economic developer of that day. And so today we have innovation incubators across all fields, not just in tech fields, but also in many other fields. It's not just about economic entrepreneurship, it is also about social entrepreneurship. We are an innovation university, dealing with fearless ideas to make a difference in the world. That's what we want to inculcate. Secondly, we are also a do-good university. I am of that old-fashioned school who believes that education is not just about preparing the next generation of educators and researchers, but it's also to apply our knowledge and our skills for the causes of justice and compassion and service in a world that's greatly in need of these blessings. So we have branded ourselves as the do-good university, a university that tries to apply for undergraduates and graduate students. We have do-good competitions. Let me just give you one small example. This was 3 years ago when a group of students, undergraduates, came up with this notion. We waste a lot of food on this campus. Food that is available in the dining halls or in the various places where food is dispensed, but it is not consumed, has to be thrown away under public health laws. You cannot just save it and serve it the next day. So these students said, what if we were to educate ourselves on the public health laws and then every single night swoop in, gather all that food that is not served but perfectly healthy, perfectly good, and take them to homeless shelters. By the end of the semester, they were serving 30,000 meals in Washington, D.C. and Baltimore. But they went a step further. They created a not-for-profit company with people from all different majors called the Food Recovery Network. You saw it briefly. And this Food Network, this not-for-profit, that's about employees now, is in 130 colleges and universities in this country, started by a bunch of undergraduate and graduate students at the University of Maryland. And when one of them appeared on national television last year, and the anchor said, so what what's your next goal? He simply looked at the anchor and said, our goal is to have the food recovery network in all 4,500 colleges in this country. And we will end hunger in America. That's the kind of fearless idea. That's the kind of innovation and doing good that we aspire to. And the third aspect I want to mention is we are a diverse, inclusive, and civil university in the sense of supporting civil discourse. This is a very special day. This is a day of the great American eclipse, when across the country there will be totality. And you know what's significant about it? Of course, we won't see it here. We're predicted to have thunderstorms this afternoon. The significance, wonderful, awesome, celestial spectacle is that we are all citizens of the same small planet Earth. That we all share common origins in the cosmos. And that gives me hope for our species and our country. Because this is one of the most fraught times. This is one of the most divisive, polarized times, not only in this country, but in many other places in the world. And it is the responsibility of a university to teach students not to build walls, but to build bridges. And to teach students how to scale those walls, if need be. When we have the toxicity of having a student on this campus last spring murdered by a white supremacist, no provocation, just goes up to him and stabs him. Or when we saw that something that I would never have thought to see in the 21st century, what happened in Charlottesville, and similar incidents across. We are faced, your education is taking place in the context of a fight for the soul of America. And by soul of America, I mean the fundamental values that define us as a democracy. And what are those values? Remember that when I first immigrated, 15 years old, from South America, I'm what they call a Latino Asian, speaking Chinese at home, Spanish in school, and then at the age of 15, shipped to this country by my parents with $300 in my pocket, their life savings, because they said, there's hope and opportunity in America. Only in this country can a 15-year-old Latasian who comes without English, without friends, without money, or almost without money, would suddenly become of a major research university. I tell you this story because America was once a microcosm of Europe. Today, it's a microcosm of the world. We are becoming the first universal nation in history, a nation of nations, and to be the first multicultural, multi-ethnic democracy in the history of the world. We made a lot of progress, but we're not there yet. And that is the context in which this divided, polarized time plays out. I will simply remind you what drew me to this country and why I became a naturalized American is because of these words to the Constitution. We the people, in order to form a more perfect union, to establish justice and to secure the blessings of liberty. That is the vision. Establish justice, a just society, and to secure the blessings of liberty, a free society. A just society and society and a more perfect union. 241 years gone. We are not there yet. We made a lot of progress, but we're far from being the kind of just and democratic society that we like to be. But that is our task. We celebrate, we welcome people of all backgrounds, all faiths, all races, all ethnicities, all sexual orientations. But it's that holds us together. It is one thing to celebrate multiculturalism. We all embrace it. But there has to be something that brings us all together beyond our personal identity. I'll simply conclude by sharing you the words of two persons who I know you all know and admire. One, Martin Luther King, on that sultry August day in 1963, when he stood in front of the Lincoln Memorial, and he intoned, "I have a dream. I have a dream that someday my children will be judged not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character." Forward to 2006, a young senator in Denver gives an electrifying speech where he says, "There's no white America, there's no black America, there's no Latino America, there's no Asian America, there's only the United States of America." A vision of a post-racial society. We are not there yet. And it does not mean that we don't celebrate our distinctive differences. But what unites us all is a commitment to those fundamental values that define our country. Diversity, inclusion, respect, equality. Because other nations are founded upon language, race, religion, and land. But America is an idea that's still in progress. So let me just conclude by welcoming you again and reminding you why you are Terps. By the way, this little turtle pin is going to be around. I've got lots of these turtle pins to give out. Right? What you why the Terp is a mascot. And a number of you, by the way, have also been commenting on my bow tie. Well, this part of the uniform, red and white, black and gold, I want you to know, and this shows the innovation of our students, this is made by an undergraduate in her dorm. She started a business. She actually makes these neckties. She has a whole supply chain. Right? And they go for $18 at UMB.votes. And I've sent over 300 customers to her if you want one. And they also have hair ribbons for women.
Buck's a buck.
So let me conclude by telling you why terrapin, that little turtle that you find in the waterways of Maryland and elsewhere on the Atlantic Ocean, on the Atlantic seaboard, is our mascot. Because it is an inspirational mascot. You should know that this turtle, this tiny little terrapin turtle, can only walk forward. It cannot walk backwards. And how does that turtle walk forward? One step at a time, sticking its neck out. That captures the Terp ethic. We always walk forward, one step at a time, sticking our necks out, thinking big, aiming high, taking risks, persevering, and never, ever giving up. We are Terps. We are the University of Maryland. Go Terps, go!
Maryland.
Is this working? Okay, thank you, Dr. Lowe. I don't know how to turn it off, otherwise I'm going to I've also been told not to go off script. So again, thank you, Dr. Lowe, for your inspiring remarks.
It's now my honor to introduce Ms. Stephanie Cork. Stephanie is a doctoral candidate in kinesiology and beginning her second year as President of the Graduate Student Government, or GSG as it is known. GSG is an independent student organization that works closely with the graduate school and advocates for graduate students on and off campus. GSG also sponsors graduate student events and fosters a vibrant graduate student community. Steph?
Hello there. Morning. Whew, I hope everyone got coffee. I'm getting cold now up here. It's great. I'm also going to try and not go off script. Hello there, and thank you, Dean Chen, for the introduction. And as stated, I'm now serving my second term as president, so I'm really sorry if you didn't vote for me, but I swear I've got this. I swear. So the Graduate Student Government, or GSG, is the elected body that represents the needs of all graduate students. We have open meetings for all grads that take place on the first Friday of the month from about 2:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. in the Dimbru Cultural Center. If you haven't been to the Cultural Center yet, you should come visit, especially because we offer free food. We use this space to host speakers, share resources, opportunities, and to troubleshoot any issues you may face while here in College Park. Did I mention there's free food? You can find updated information on our schedule on the Facebook page and our website. We're really good at the Facebook, the website we're working on. So if you're good at website design, you know, like look us up, we could use the help. But our website is gsg.umd.edu. But again, go to the Facebook, like us, we swear we update it all the time. And if you're interested at all, please, in joining, you're already technically members as new graduate students, as the entire graduate student body is a member of the GSG, or Grad Student Government, but you're welcome to come to the welcome barbecue and just bug me and ask questions. I have my business cards and I'm ready to sell the organization to you. We also work with other student groups on campus, including the Graduate Assistant Advisory Committee, or GAC, great acronym, which represents all grad assistants, or GAs. If you're a graduate research, teaching, or administrative assistant, GAC, or the Graduate Assistant Advisory Committee, which is how I should probably say it, is a resource for you. They'll have elections in the fall, and if you're interested in representing your entire college, I highly advise you go for this position. It's very important to represent the needs of graduate assistants to the university, and GAC does an excellent job of that. GAC and GSG are also part of the Fearless Student Employees, or FSC, coalition that organizes here at College Park and in the State House on behalf of graduate employee rights. They consist of graduate and undergraduate students who are interested in working on labor issues on the campus and beyond. If you're interested in hearing more about this or want to join GAC or Fearless Student Employees, you can go and meet the passionate and dedicated Caden Fabi. Did Caden make it upstairs? Okay. Oh, there he is, right in the back row there. Not only is Caden the GSG Chief of Staff, he's a graduate assistant in the Student Organization Resource Center, and if that wasn't impressive enough, he is also the president of the University System of Maryland Student Council. So really, there's nothing that Caden can't do. Can we actually clap for Caden and all the things he does for our community? He really is wonderful. I'm glad I lured him up here. But it's not just those of us elected or employed by the university that keeps this campus running. In fact, it's generous volunteers like yourselves who donate their time and energy to help our community, keep our community vibrant. And I want to thank you in advance for the unique insight and experience you bring to our College Park campus. Speaking of unique and wonderful, who here is an international student? Hands up. Yes. Me too, yeah, clapping. Me too. So while I didn't have to trek nearly as far as many of you, I'm only from Canada, I know there are unique and complicated issues facing our international community at this time. Even with this in mind, I'm really glad you're here. And I hope you will see the Grad Student Government, our executive team, our assembly, and myself as both a resource and a contact to listen and support you. I also would not be up here today, without Caden, of course, but without the amazing staff from the graduate school and beyond. So I also want to thank and draw your attention to the members of our 4G network. Yes, so that's a very hokey name, but we think we're funny. And this includes Graduate Student Life, the Graduate Legal Aid Office, the Graduate School, and the Graduate Student Government. I want to thank the graduate school for setting this all up. Thank you, everyone here. Especially thank you to Interim Dean Jeff Franke and Amanda Strasser, who are both amazing folks. The graduate school is a great resource. This 4G network works together to support our graduate student community, and we're always happy to give you time to share both your tragedies and triumphs on this campus. With this in mind, I want to acknowledge that this is going to be a difficult year for many reasons, but not the least of which is the terrible loss of Lieutenant Richard Collins III at the hands of one of our own this past spring. Safety and security are always a concern, but now we must be more vigilant and supportive of our entire campus community. We are again reminded of this with the incidents at the University of Virginia that a frightening climate surrounds us. But that does not mean we cannot fight to ensure the support of all our graduate students is ensured as valued and important members of our community. The Graduate Student Government Executive Committee stands in solidarity with those fighting white supremacy, terrorism, and injustice in Charlottesville and elsewhere. Here at the University of Maryland, we know all too well the pervasiveness of white supremacy and its horrific consequences. The GSG remains committed to naming injustice and working to transform the structures, policies, and cultures that enable white supremacy, particularly on this campus and in our state. We commit to using our resources to provide support and encourage anti-racist programming and to support graduate students and groups engaged in this work. We commit to holding our university administration, the campus community, and ourselves accountable in this ongoing fight. With that said, I hope this is not the only time you'll see me. While I'm supposed to be finishing that little thing they call a dissertation, I'm also really committed to helping each and every one of you. So please email me, my executive team, go bug Caden in the back, or find a resource in our 4G network community members. Again, Graduate Student Life, Graduate Legal Aid, the wonderful Graduate School, and Graduate Student Government. We're all online, on OrgSync, on Facebook, on Twitter, and you also have a Graduate Student Lounge right here in the Stamp Student Union, just downstairs. Know that there is always a space for you, and remember, you are not alone. You have rights, there are resources, and we can always find a way to make you feel at home. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you at lunch.
Thank you, Stephanie. Throughout the program, we will be playing short video clips of our 3-minute thesis, or 3MT campus winners. The purpose of the 3MT is for each student to describe his or her research to an educated lay audience in 3 minutes. The campus winner competes for prizes in an international competition and in other state and regional competitions. Before we hear about opportunities for Maryland graduate students to extend their learning and research opportunities far beyond campus, here is the first 3MT video. Shortly. There you go.
Take your hand and put it on your face. Now imagine your hand is a parasite, a lot like a tick, but instead of sucking out your blood, it's liquefying one of your internal organs and sucking part of that out of your body. If you were a honeybee, you wouldn't have to imagine. You'd know this nightmare all too well already. I'm talking about the parasitic mite Varroa destructor. And no, the name isn't overly dramatic. This is one crazy parasite. Pesticides may currently dominate the discussion on why our honeybees are dying in such high numbers, but the science is clear that Varroa destructor is the main reason for it. And this is definitely something that we should be concerned about. How many of you had coffee this morning? You have honeybees to thank for that, as well as 1/3 of every bite of food that reaches your mouth. So it may surprise you to find out that with Varroa being so important to the health of such a vital organism, that we don't know what they're eating when they attach themselves to bees. It's been accepted as if axiomatic that Varroa feed on the bee's blood. But while looking through the body of research, I found that we've been citing a study for nearly half a century that never actually proved that. Enter my project. The goal was to figure out what Varroa is eating. I started with the question, where do they feed? If they can feed anywhere on a bee, the way that a tick can on you, then they're probably feeding on blood. However, if they feed only in one spot, maybe they're eating a tissue specific to that location. The results? They fit only in one spot, on the underside of the bee's abdomen. The tissue in this area is called the fat body, And this is significant because the fat body doesn't just store nutrients. It detoxifies pesticides, regulates hormone levels, it produces the honeybee's primary immune response to microbial invaders. And that's just 4 of its 9 functions. So, I stained the bee's fat body and blood with fluorescent tissue-specific biostains and recorded what we found in the mites. While they did ingest some blood, the vast majority of their meal was fat body. Then I needed to determine which of these tissues was integral to Varroa's survivorship and reproduction. I did this by allowing them to feed on decoy bees that I constructed and filled with blood or fat body. Varroa-fed blood died quickly and produced very few eggs, no different from the group that was starved. However, those fed fat body were the only ones able to survive the full 7-day duration of the study, and they produced 6 times more eggs. So it appears we had it wrong. We've been thinking of these parasites as vampires when they're actually more like werewolves. And maybe we've had so little success in killing them because we've been trying to drive a stake through something for which we needed a silver bullet. Now, we're investigating the question of whether we can introduce an agent into the fat body that will disrupt the reproductive cycle of Varroa when they feed. Hopefully, these findings will lead to a day when this parasite is affectionately called the crisis formerly known as Varroa destructor.
So that was Samuel Ramsey, a PhD candidate in the Department of Entomology. He was our 2017 first place winner. You can probably tell he's affectionately known as Dr. Bugs. And he has been winning 2 other contests since he won here in Maryland, and we're all hoping that you'll all vote for him in October, when he competes on the international stage. Today, we begin a journey together. You have chosen, and I might add very wisely, to attend the University of Maryland to advance your career, gain new knowledge and skills, or to ultimately create new knowledge. Graduate school will not be like your undergraduate years. Graduate school is essentially a lifestyle and a commitment to devote one's time and energy nearly single-mindedly in pursuit of the degree. Life does not stop. You may be learning a new culture. Your family may be expanding. But today, you will see that you are not alone on that journey. The graduate school and our partners across the campus are here to ensure that you succeed. You've enrolled in a university that can offer opportunities that very few other institutions, if any, can match. Maryland has highly respected and nationally ranked academic departments and programs. You will be challenged and you will grow. Last year, our faculty, students, and postdocs brought in over $550 million of research support. This dollar amount of research funding on this campus put Maryland in the top 5 of public institutions. And to think, this is without a medical school. As you will see today, we want our students to succeed, and we offer programming and support to help you. But that is not all. We are 8 miles from the world's financial, policy, and research capital. NASA, NIST, NIH are all within easy commute. The opportunities for research, externships, internships, and networking are endless. In 2012, the University of Maryland made the historic announcement that it was joining the Big Ten Athletic Conference and the Big Ten Academic Alliance, formerly known as the Committee on Institutional Cooperation, or CIC, the academic enterprise of the Big Ten. Maryland's institutional membership in the Big Ten Academic Alliance provides many opportunities for our graduate students, including a traveling scholar program that enables PhD students to pursue short-term study at member institutions, shared study abroad programs, and Big Ten fellowship programs and grants. For example, the Alliance awarded 7 Smithsonian fellowships this year. 4 went to the Maryland students. We took 4 out of the 7. As a member of the Big Ten and its Big Ten Academic Alliance, the libraries, faculty, research, travel, courses of our 13 partners are all available to you. If we do not have it here, we have means to get it for you, either by bringing it here or by having you travel to Michigan State, Ohio State, or Rutgers, or any one of our Big Ten partners. And lastly, through our consortium partners in Universitas 21, you have access to the research and courses at institutions in Canada, Mexico, South America, Europe, South Africa, Australia, China, Japan, and more. You have joined a truly global university. At this time, I'd like to share a video with you about the Big Ten Academic Alliance and how its programs and opportunities can enhance your graduate career.
The CIC is a consortium of 15 research universities. The members of the Big Ten Athletic Conference and the University of Chicago. It was actually started by the presidents in 1958 as the academic counterpart to the athletic conference. We like to say that our universities compete on the gridiron on Saturday, but they're in the classroom collaborating on Monday. We do that work in several ways. One is through building communities of practice across the institution, so people of like and similar position meet together to share best practices. And then the other way is through directed, targeted project management of very large-scale projects that the campuses can't manage on their own. The libraries of the CIC have a very active collaboration together, which I think is a wonderful model for all kinds of potential collaboration across the institutions. CIC libraries together own 110 million book volumes. All of these volumes are available to students, faculty, and staff from across all of the institutions. The libraries have also combined their purchasing power on contracts that lower the price for the purchases that they make on those books and journals, saving money, sharing their assets, and creating new opportunities that wouldn't have existed without their collaboration. A student at one campus can take advantage of the study abroad opportunities at any of the other campuses. Graduate students can travel for up to a year to another CIC university to access specialized courses and laboratories. We offer some online language learning opportunities across the CIC, fellowships from organizations such as the Smithsonian or for summer research. So there's a whole range of student opportunities that are immediately open to any student across the CIC universities. The area of greatest opportunity for our member universities right now is in the research portfolio. Our universities conduct $10.8 billion in funded research every year. That is more than the University of California system and the Ivy League combined. First of all, we've laid the basis for shared research infrastructure. So we have a shared fiber optic network across the campuses, and faculty are using it to push data to the Large Hadron Collider experiment in CERN, Switzerland. They're using it to begin the investigation of traumatic brain injury. We're just starting to look at working with states in our 11-state footprint to address health disparities, putting our infrastructure to work, our decision-making structure to work, and addressing that opportunity in the $10.8 billion in funded research is an amazing opportunity, I think, for our campuses. It's a goal of our member universities to increase the effectiveness, obviously, of our faculty and to build the best faculty in the nation. And part of that involves ensuring that there's an excellent representation within the faculty from folks who are in underrepresented groups, right? So CIC universities are able to harness many parts of the university in service to this objective. So we start with recruiting undergraduates to our summer research opportunity program. These students are recruited from all over the nation. Once they're on the campuses doing their research, we're then recruiting them into our graduate programs. Once they're in the graduate programs, we begin to look at them as potential faculty members. We have a very strong and active faculty leadership program in the CIC. It's been one of our actually longest serving programs here. In which case we bring together about 60 faculty members from across the consortium every year for leadership development and the examination of issues facing higher education. These are all folks that go on to be department heads, deans, and provosts. So when we think about what makes the CIC effective, I think that a couple of things come to mind. First of all is scale. These are some of the most influential research universities in the world, certainly in the nation, 15, so you have the scale. They're enormously effective and have tremendous reach. So we cover 11 states. And finally, we have the structure to allow us to collaborate at scale. So while other institutions might think about collaboration, without the infrastructure, the trust that we have together as peer institutions and that history of working together, you just cannot get people to move at the same speed at the same time. Through collaboration, CIC universities are going to outperform every other group of research universities in the world because of their collaboration. It makes them better, faster, and smarter together.
That's a great overview of why UMD joined the Big Ten and how our graduate students can take advantage of this membership. If you would like to watch any of these videos again, they will be available on our website, gradschool.umd.edu. In addition to the academic support the graduate school provides, we are also committed to building a robust graduate community of students, faculty, friends, and families. With that in mind, I would like to give everyone in both rooms a few moments to stand and stretch their legs and introduce themselves to other new graduate students seated near them this morning. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. We are all new students, so the chance to meet a few new faces will be welcomed by all of us. So everybody stand up, especially in the Collins Ballroom. Look left, look right. 2 jumping jacks, shake hands. Have we done 3 minutes yet?
Okay. I hope. Hello. Yeah, okay, have your attention.
Okay, have your attention. You can all sit down.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Stretching is over.
Now that we have, you've made a number of new friends, and you've had the opportunity to meet some new people. So can you please take your seats so we can continue our program?
We are covered in microbes, which are bacteria and fungi, right now, inside and out, whether we like it or not. We should celebrate them. These microbes are generally considered good. They help our immune system develop, and they help kill the bad microbes that make us sick. Sometimes we even take good microbes, called probiotics, to keep us healthy, and other times we take antibiotics. But what if you were dying of a deadly disease and you couldn't take an antibiotic? You're a bat, a bird, a frog, a salamander, and a bad microbe has invaded your habitat, and it's killing you and your relatives by the millions. This is happening right now across the globe. It is causing large losses to global biodiversity and unknown damage to ecosystems and forest stability. In some instances, humans are accidentally introducing these bad microbes into new habitats. For my dissertation, I am studying how good microbes may protect amphibians, which are frogs and salamanders, from a bad microbe. The bad microbe, called Batrachochytrium dendrobatidis, which I will just call BD, is a fungal pathogen that infects the skin of amphibians. This is particularly deadly for amphibians because they breathe across their skin. BD has been implicated in the die-offs of more than 100 species of amphibians worldwide. But in my research, I discovered that woodland salamanders are rarely infected with BD, even though it often occurs in the habitat in which they live. My hypothesis is the good microbes on these salamanders are protecting them from the bad microbe BD. To test this, I cultured bacteria from the skin of 3 species of woodland salamanders in the eastern United States. Then I determined which of these bacteria could kill BD in culture. Then I used new DNA sequencing technology to determine how abundant the good microbes were. I found 73 unique bacteria that could kill the bad microbe BD. I found those bacteria make up more than 40% of the bacteria living on the salamander's skin. So 40% of the bacteria can kill the bad microbe BD. This suggests woodland salamanders are protected from BD due to their good microbes. But why care about woodland salamanders and their microbes? Because what we learn from woodland salamanders aids in developing conservation strategies for amphibians dying from BD. Further, the methods we develop, the insight we gain, applies to all organisms that get infected by bad microbes. Using good microbes to prevent disease, often called probiotic therapy, is an active line of research in chestnut tree, coral, and bat conservation, in aquaculture, in agriculture, and also in human medicine. Let's celebrate these protective good microbes.
I hope you liked that 3MT video presenting Dr. Carly Muletz-Woltz, a December 2016 graduate from the Biological Sciences program and our 2016 winner. And I do promise we study more than parasites here at the University of Maryland, but they're a little more interesting, I think, sometimes. Now, with the help of some very distinguished guests, you will learn what you can expect academically during your graduate career. For those of you here today who are enrolled in one of our master's degree programs, your time with us will be relatively short. You will learn how to apply the theories and best practices of your chosen field and discipline of study to real-world issues and problems. What you take away from your courses, internships, externships, and extracurricular activities will enable you to start your new career or help you advance in your current job. Take advantage of the opportunities to explore new ideas and new paths. For those of you embarking on the journey toward a doctoral degree, the end goal may seem to be years away, but do not wait until you are a candidate to think about your professional and academic development. Whether you want to be a faculty member in a college or university, or you intend to look for a position in the myriad of career options open to doctoral graduates, starting now to develop the skills, knowledge, and experience will help ensure successful placement when you graduate. We are committed to support you on this journey. Our first distinguished speaker to talk about graduate education is Dr. Suzanne Ortega, the president of the prestigious Council of Graduate Schools, of which UMD is a proud and active member. With over 550 institutional members, the Council of Graduate Schools conducts research and offers programs that serves its mission of advancing graduate education, promoting U.S. competitiveness in the global economy. Prior to her appointment as president in 2014, Dr. Ortega served as the Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs for the 17-campus University of North Carolina system. Dr. Ortega has a keen perspective on what you can expect academically over the next few years, and we are privileged to have her with us this morning to share her very insightful comments. My mentor, Dr. Susan Ortega.
Well, Jeff, thank you so much for those very kind words, and thanks for an opportunity to you, Jeff, and to you, colleagues, for letting me share one of my most favorite times of the year on a university campus. It's a little early now, I think, but later this week as the undergraduates join you on campus, I think you too will find that the energy and the excitement level is nearly palpable. I think I'm feeling a little, I don't know, nostalgic. My granddaughter heads off to her first years in college, and so I've been thinking a lot about families and students and about transitions. I know that many of you have brought your families with you. I think they're not here, but I think they're with one another in another room. All of you were not in a position to bring families with you, but for every single one of you, you are here for your families, even if they can't be physically with you, even if you are the first in your family, maybe especially if you are the first in your family to pursue a post-baccalaureate degree. If they were here, I would ask all of you to applaud them because they serve as your cheerleaders, as your supporters. Sometimes they're going to be your needlers. They're going to say, when's that thing going to be done? And you know what? That's healthy too. They will always be your friends. So since we cannot clap for them now, take mind that when graduation day comes, after they finish applauding you for the accomplishments of which they will be so proud, applaud them for all they have given you in return. So I sit down in DuPont Circle, I don't know how many miles it is from here, 15 miles from here, in a high-rise building with the World of Higher Education Associations, with the unique privilege of spending my time studying, thinking about, supporting, and advocating for graduate students. And what does that national perspective tell us? Well, we know this fall, beginning as master's or doctoral students, will be approximately 525,000 new first-time graduate students. About 21% of those students will come from the countries of around the globe and the world. Almost 80% will be master's students as they enter their program. Many will pursue a master's degree that's the portal to a career promotion or to a new position. Some, I hope, will become so intrigued by their master's level work that they'll choose to move into a doctoral program to further their understanding and to further their capacity to lead, to think, and to create. That's the national scene. Now, what does Maryland look like? You've already heard that there are almost 3,500 of you here joining the University of Maryland campus to begin your post-baccalaureate study. You will be joining approximately 7,500 students who are already here on campus involved in their study. 34% of you are from 114 countries from around the globe, and every state in the Union is represented. You are part of a large global community. Now, your pathways are as different as your families, as your interests, as your home country. Many of you came because someplace along the line you encountered an idea, perhaps a character in a British novel, or perhaps in post-colonial theory and literature. You had the opportunity to invest time in a laboratory and became so interested in a particular technique or the possibility of solving a health problem that perhaps has affected somebody in your family or somebody you know. So you came to graduate school because you wanted to pursue a passion, something you could not imagine putting down for any period of time, that you wanted to follow for the next 3 or 4 or 5 years of your life, to see how far you could understand and go. Some of you may have been a little more tactical. You know the career you want to have. You know the entry requirements to be considered for that career. and you've decided to pursue a master's education in order to make that job opportunity a reality for you. And perhaps others of you are in a current job, but wanting to get the training and the preparation that allow you to be promoted and to move forward in your field, to seek advancement in your current position. Well, frankly, I hope that we don't see or treat these things, the pursuit of passion versus the pursuit of a job, as competing objectives. Indeed, in the best of all possible worlds, they overlap. Whether you are trying to stay abreast of rapidly evolving skills in a field in which you already work, whether you're trying to master the really hard stuff of team building and leadership and communication, your graduate education, your graduate experience should be driven by your curiosity, by that passion. And it really must speak to both your brain and your heart. I hope you know and will continue to remind yourself, no matter how hard the going gets, and I assure you at some point you're gonna say, I wonder what made me think this was a great idea. You know, it comes to all of us at one point. Well, the answer is unequivocal. Your choice was a good one. It was a good one because you will, on average, earn higher salaries and experience more job security than those with baccalaureate degrees only or with high school degrees only. By the way, that's not a trivial point, not because money buys happiness, but in point of fact, a belief that your job is secure is positively and strongly associated with satisfaction with life and with happiness. We know that the jobs you'll hold have better benefits, whether those are benefits like retirement, like someday that will happen, I assure you. Whether it's retirement, whether it's health benefits, whether it's tuition remission, whether it's support for your children to go to school. Furthermore, we know that over 1 million new jobs will be created over the next 5 to 10 years, and those new jobs will all require master's and doctoral degrees as point of entry. Interestingly, 40% of them don't exist today. So you are in the process of preparing and using your skills to master a world that's exciting and known. So your investment makes good financial job security sense. It's an investment in yourself, an investment that will pay off. But you know, it's not just about salary. From the Pew Research Center to the Gallup-Purdue poll to Tony Carnevale's work at the Georgetown Work and Education Center, the evidence accumulates that graduate education brings with it a rather astounding array of other personal satisfactions. We know that students, people who have completed graduate degrees and are employed are much more likely to be employed in positions that they describe as careers, not just jobs. They talk about their work as one source, not the only source, of course not the only source, but one source of deep and very personal identity. They talk about it as a source of meaning, not just a means to an end. When you ask students, and there are a variety of Bureau of Labor statistics that help us sort this out, when we ask postgraduate degree holders to describe the nature of the work they do, they use adjectives like creativity, independence, learning something new every day in both work and in life. They describe their work and their lives as purposeful, as having a meaning in the world that is larger than oneself. And by the way, those descriptors, those variables, those powerful adjectives describing the life many of us think is a good life are characteristics of those holding PhDs and master's degrees working within the university, within the academy as professors and researchers, but also for those choosing to work in business, the nonprofit sector, in government, and elsewhere. Well, I suppose in some way, whether it's a personal sense of satisfaction, whether it's this sense of meaning, whether it's the money in our pockets, whether it's a sense of being real contributors, the value to your education that I've discussed so far is really a personal value. It's a value that impacts you, and of course those that are very close to you, your family and your friends. But I want to take just a minute to talk about the impact of the work you do and the lives you will lead that are broader than those that are personally rewarding. But the contributions, the work you do and the lives you lead will bring to larger communities. I'm going to do two quick studies. One is a study that has stuck in my mind for at least 4 years. I do not remember all the statistical details. I definitely remember the bottom line. It was a study of industrializing Europe, and it asked the question, what made the most difference in the transition to industrialization and rapid economic development? Was it the investment nations made in basic literacy, or was it the investments they made in creating the infrastructure and the resources and the time to allow a talented intellectual, and I'm going to use the word elite for the time being, to do their work? Now, it's almost never the case in life that it's one or the other. And of course, the real answer to economic development is you need both. You need basic fundamental literacy. But in the context of Western European history, in that particular junction of time, it was in point of fact the investment in those thinkers and scholars and creators of knowledge that appeared to be the critical factor that leveraged their local communities, their economic regions, and ultimately their nations to higher levels of productivity and thus a higher quality of life. Well, if you switch to Texas, in the period of about 1970 to 2000, another study was done. A study was done to try to understand what the impact of changes in the proportion of high-tech companies and highly educated residents made on the local economy. Well, as you can imagine, and as you surely know, the area around Austin and others is a place that's rapidly growing, that it is known for a high quality of life, that there's a lot of, it's a cosmopolitan community with a lot of high-end science and engineering going on. And one would expect then that the overall quality of life in and around Austin and these other hubs would be driven by the influx of highly educated workers. What is perhaps less self-evident, and for me, at least as important, perhaps more important, is that that influx of highly educated, highly talented technicians and scholars led to an increase in the salary level and the compensation and the benefits given to those who were working in low-wage salary and manufacturing and basic blue-collar work. That is, it was part of a process that had a spillover effect that raised the standards of all. Well, we could talk about this and say that's technology and that's, it's all complicated business. But I want to stop for just a moment and suggest to you that the power of education is not just the things we manufacture or the tools we create. I want to talk to you about the profound power of the arts and the humanities. And if you'll just hold with me for a minute. I want to do a little history lesson. You all weren't alive in 1958, and indeed it's sort of on the periphery of my memory. Probably one of my clearest memories in and around that time period is of Wednesday afternoon air raid siren drills. Remember, we were in the heart of the Cold War, and we practiced getting under our school desks every Wednesday as the drill we would use if there was a nuclear Armageddon. Still beats the heck out of me what that desk was going to do for us, but I remember it. In any event, it was in 1958, with the leadership of Dwight Eisenhower, worrying about the aftermath of Sputnik, science and technology, that the National Defense Education Act was passed. And as important as science and technology was, that National Defense Education Act and the subsequent National Defense student loans also center front put the mastery of modern languages, of history, of geography, of civics, of regional studies, and of education at the heart of what it would take to live in a secure and safe world. 5 years later, in 1965, at a time of, which I remember better, at a time of enormous political upheaval, Lyndon Johnson, who must have been wondering what in the world was going on with America, had the courage to create the National Endowment for the Humanities and the National Endowment for the Arts at a very, very critical and fractious juncture. And why do you suppose leaders across the political spectrum turn to the humanities and turn to the arts as a logical solution to what seemed to be a culture and a country in crisis? Because at one level or another, they recognize the importance of narrative to empower the voices of individuals whose stories have not yet been told, and the power of narrative to co-create and create communities that have not yet been. They recognized, perhaps abstractly, but now with increasingly rigorous neuroscientific evidence, the healing power of the arts. And throughout the country, at some of the leading hospitals in the world, arts, whether it's music, dance, or literature, has been shown to have deep therapeutic effects in the treatment and remission of serious, potentially life-threatening illnesses. And one more I will simply mention to you, absolutely amazing book. It's called Sense, as in C-E-N-T-S, Sense and Sensibility, by a literature guy and an economist who really wants to think about what the humanities can teach economics. Everything interesting, they say, in economics is in the error term, individual lives, the idiosyncrasies and the non-rationality of human behavior. And if we could find a way to integrate rather than isolate our scientific and our humanistic and artistic approaches, we could make better predictions and create more effective and just policies. Of course, art, humanities, science have utility. They help us create things that make our world better. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that, of course, it is also true that a poem, a historical moment, a disciplinary insight, a deep understanding of the mechanics of the cell are worth pursuing for their own sakes. But never fear, pursuing basic curiosity-driven science and scholarship will also make the world a better place. So I'm going to end here with my short reflections on what I truly, truly wish for you today. And I will give you what advice I can. I always say advice is what you pay for it, is worth what you pay for it. And since this is free, You get to decide what the advice is worth. But let me start with my wish for you and the advice. For those of you who next week will be entering the classroom as a teaching assistant, maybe with a little trepidation, I wish you a student, maybe not on the first day, maybe it'll take a couple weeks. I wish you a student or students who are so captivated by what you have to say, by the turn of a phrase, by the sophistication of an idea, that he or she momentarily stops taking notes, leans forward in their seat, and listens to you and only to you. Perhaps you've had that experience, and perhaps you remember the moment and the professor who shared it with you. Of course, it's a long haul to get to be good at this teaching stuff, so I really strongly encourage you to make use of all of the resources that are on this campus that are designed to make you better at teaching. Becoming a better teacher will serve you well. It will make you a better scholar, a better scientist. Indeed, it will make you a better leader, no matter where and what you do in your next job. My second piece of advice, I think it's related to what I wish for you, is make sure to ask your advisor, your mentor, for what you need. Your faculty are incredible experts in their fields, and they are here and they will model and teach and critique and instill cutting-edge skills in your discipline. But if you think for one moment they're here only to judge and demand, you are forgetting the important role that each and every one of them have taken on, and that is to support you. I mean, I remember going to graduate school not really very clear about this, and I remember sitting down with my advisor and saying, now, Dr. Rushing, just what is it you would like me to accomplish in this particular project? And he'd say, oh, Suzanne, don't call me Dr. Rushing, call me Bill. Well, for a year I called him Dr. Rushing. For another year I didn't call him anything. But when I finally got the courage up to call him Bill, I actually realized that he had not only helped me turn my master's thesis into a lead article in the best journal in our field, he was using his professional networks to support me, to encourage me, and ultimately to launch me in my career. Get to know your peers. I was going to ask you to stand up and introduce yourself to somebody if Jeff hadn't already done so. I think great minds think alike. Your peers, the peers in your program, as well as peers outside of your program that you meet, will be key to your success. We know that from study after study of students who complete their degrees and do so in a timely way. It's not just the ones who are coming in with you today, it's those who have been in your program for a year or more. Peer mentors are effective in understanding the culture and the unwritten rules of your discipline. They're also enormous sources of networks. Pursue those peers outside of your disciplines, because interdisciplinarity and the capacity to think systemically may be the most important hallmarks of research and scholarship in the 21st century. So I'm not going to ask you to do it one more time and not ask you to do it now, but I'd urge you as I leave the stage or at some other point in this morning, introduce yourselves to another group of friends. These will be your friends for life. So I wish you, yes, I do wish you long and maybe even sleepless nights. But I don't want you to be up worrying about how in the world am I going to get these things done, or worrying about things that you think you can't complete. I want you to be up and awake because you are so engaged with an idea and the flow of ideas and the work you're doing that you simply cannot put it down until you've reached a next stepping stone or a next milestone. If you have these experiences working collaboratively and with your colleagues, you will end up like the students, the Council of Graduate Schools features on something we call Grad Impact. Let me tell you about Josh Gerziak. He's a doctoral student at Worcester Polytech who has now received a number of patents for his development of the capacity to grow heart tissue on the framework of spinach leaves. Interesting, but it creates a novel new biological infrastructure to support the growth of new cell tissues. Or let me tell you about Tim Brown, a philosopher and a neuroscientist at the University of Washington, who is understanding how deep brain stimulation used to treat Parkinson's patients change people's both self-identity, their understanding of who and what they are and what they can control in ways that allow them to more effectively manage the very, very serious degenerative consequences of this disease. Meanwhile, at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, Dakota Mace is interested in developing a visual as well as a historical representation of Navajo women's relationship to history and to landscape. And she is doing that through a weaving project that makes tangible the profound relationship of desert communities, water, and life. And at York University, Terry Mark is using documentary film as a method and a technique. Perhaps you know and have followed some of Al Gore's work in this regard, but to really develop a theory and a process and a structure of using documentaries to mobilize social change. And here at the University of Maryland, College Park, Lisa Tostanowski is developing new strategies. She's a PhD in bioengineering, developing new strategies to combat autoimmune disorders such as multiple sclerosis and others. Well, I look forward to hearing about your first conference presentation, about your first accepted paper, how you're proud about the policy brief that will help shape our lives and worlds. When you've published these papers, and you will, or the policy briefs, or created processes that change the way we do work, you will know that you are now not only reading the literature, you are creating it. Thanks for allowing me to spend a little time with you this your first day of graduate education. I know the world will be in your very capable hands. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Ortega. Apropos to Dr. Ortega's comments, we've assembled a distinguished panel of UMD graduate faculty to share their wisdom and advice about what to expect in your studies and in the conduct of your research and how to reach your academic goals at Maryland. I would like to introduce three distinguished faculty members who have joined me on the stage today. Professors John Fisher, Michelle Espino, and Colin Phillips. Dr. Fisher is the Fischel Family Distinguished Professor and Department Chair of the Fischel Department of Bioengineering in the A. James Clark School of Engineering. His research is in biomedical engineering. He received his PhD from Rice University. Welcome, Dr. Fisher. Thank you. Dr. Michelle Espino is an associate professor in the College of Education's Counseling, Higher Education, Student Affairs, and International Education Policy Program. She received her doctoral degree from the University of Arizona. Her research interests include establishing more inclusive environments that support and enhance students' educational attainment along the P20 educational pipeline, particularly Latinx educational pathways. Welcome, Dr. Espino. Our third panelist is Dr. Colin Phillips, a professor of linguistics and distinguished scholar teacher. Dr. Phillips received his PhD from Michigan Institute of Technology, and his research interests include psycholinguistics and language science. Welcome, Dr. Phillips. Thank you for coming. Dr. Fisher, will you take the lead?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the very kind introduction. It's wonderful to be here today and to welcome everyone to Maryland. I'm a little bit more, everybody's quite formal. You guys got scripts. I'm a little bit more conversational, so I hope that's okay. But first of all, I just want to say congratulations to everybody. You've done outstanding work to get here today. You should be very proud of your achievements and your results, and obviously we all wish you the best during your time here at Maryland. So we were asked to say a few words about our perspective of graduate education and working in graduate programs. So I'll just try to give you a few thoughts that I have, and I'll be very, very brief. First of all, I would say graduate school is it's really a wonderful time. If you think about it, you're in an endeavor that you chose to pursue. It's something that, in theory, you're very, very excited to pursue. You're interested in the subject. No one's demanding that you do this work, and it's a choice that you've made. You are doing this with a group of colleagues, students, faculty, and staff who have very similar ideas, very similar interests, and similar pursuits. So it's a wonderful time. You should view it as such. It's not it shouldn't be viewed as a burden or when you wake up in bed every first thing in the morning, you should be excited as much as any of us are. You should be excited about going off to work and to school. Some maybe basic keys for success that one may think about. First of all, I would say collegiality is a wonderful thing. Working with your fellow students in a supportive, positive way is really a great approach to getting things done. A competitive approach or a zero-gain approach is probably really not one that you want to pursue, but helping one another in your own individual endeavors, but in the research group that you may be working in or in the department or at the college level. You shouldn't be afraid to ask for help. I think, as was mentioned earlier, working with your graduate advisor is going to be a key part of your time in either your master's or your PhD education. And you should be open to ask for help from your advisor, from your fellow students, from other folks in your department or outside of your department. You definitely don't know everything. I certainly don't know everything, and asking folks who can help you in those regards is really quite a good approach. I'm in bioengineering. I'm engineering, so we do a little bit of math and a little bit of biology and a lot of experimental work. So you'll probably hear different perspectives from my other panelists. But sometimes we get in the idea that research work and the data that you produce in the lab is really the key to your success. And definitely it has to be the foundation to whatever you do. But I would say also emphasize the communication of those successes. The ability to get up in front of a bunch of people and communicate your results and the impact of your results is very critical. And we saw those earlier in some of those short 3-minute thesis presentations. The ability to write. Again, as engineers, we're not thought of as fantastic writers, but the ability to write and in a very simple, straightforward manner is really critical. I was telling one of the students in my lab the other day, the science is hard enough. You don't want to make the writing so much more challenging to understand the science. So clear communication is really, really a skill. Building lifelong relationships is another wonderful aspect of graduate school. I still talk to my PhD mentor, maybe not on a daily basis, easily on a weekly basis. We communicate either by email or telephone, and it's really a wonderful relationship that you can cultivate over a long, long time. And a number of you have personal relationships already, but you may build those as well while you're in graduate school. I tell everybody the story. I was going to graduate school in Texas. I had the opportunity to do some research work in the Netherlands, and on the way home, I asked my PhD advisor, could I stop and visit some of my family in Ireland? And I did that, and that's essentially where I met my wife. We traveled back and forth between Texas and Ireland for a few years and eventually got married. But if it wasn't for that research opportunity in the Netherlands, I would have never met my wife. So I think those are wonderful opportunities. Yeah. I do the same with my students. I try to send them out to other labs as well. No, I really do. I really do. We've had work in Italy and Ireland, all sorts of stuff. Lastly, I would say graduate school is very different than undergraduate, where undergraduate would basically give you information and more or less we're asking you to give that back. Graduate school is a very creative process, so it really demands work and persistence. Just getting up every day and accomplishing just the next little step every day, that's really where you're gonna find success. Nothing's gonna happen on any individual day, but it's the accumulation of time where you really have some success. Finally, I would like I had my comments, but I wanted to add one more thing. I think it's a little bit of a privilege in what we do. I think of my job as a privilege. I mean, it's really a pretty good deal that I have. I help out running the department. I run a research lab. We have 3 postdocs and 10 and 12 PhD students. It's really a privilege to work with everyone every day. We're supported by, obviously, the folks in the state of Maryland, and in our lab, we get funding from NIH and NSF and a variety of places. And I think it's really a privilege what we do, and I like to think of it as such, and I would encourage you perhaps to have that approach as well. So finally, I'd just like to say, enjoy your time. It really is a wonderful time, and I hope everybody finds success. I'm sure you will, and personally, if there's anything I can do to help anyone, please let me know.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Michelle Espino, and I'm not an associate professor yet. We're just going to speak it into the universe because I submitted my tenure file this year. My journey began at the kitchen table. I am a first-generation college student, Mexican-American from the great state of Texas. And my journey as a qualitative methodologist really started at home. Thinking about the assets that my family brought to bear, even though I was first generation and didn't really understand the process of going to college. The fact that I survived college and went on to graduate school is really a testimony to them, as well as the burning question that continues to drive me forward, which is, how did I, as a first generation college student, manage to get a PhD and now am at a very prestigious research extensive university as a tenure track faculty member, and members of my own family have yet to go to college. And these are the burning questions that really drive the kind of work that I want to do. And it's talking about, how do we look at social inequities? How do we look at disparities in our communities and around the world? How do we think about problems that, and how do we solve problems that are really going to change our world? And I think that no matter what you're doing in your graduate education, that to know that you are being a contributor, that you are creating knowledge. For a long time now, you've been the consumer of knowledge as an undergraduate and as a member of society on a global scale. And so now you actually get to be a leader to help direct us into a better direction. That would be the hope for our world. And so some of that certainly has to do with your level of intelligence. All of you were able to gain admission here, and there are faculty who are invested in your potential contributions. But I think that only speaks to a very small piece of what graduate education really is about, and it really is about perseverance and really taking advantage of every opportunity. If your focus is only about what you're going to learn in the classroom, you're missing a lot of the opportunities that there are to engage in critical discussions in the library, right, on your campus, out in the community, doing service, working with college students, especially undergraduates, helping high school students aspire to college through the work that you're doing, regardless of what discipline it may be. You're missing opportunities to engage in knowledge production at your conferences, being able to meet with other scholars and talk about your work. And so my hope would be that you see the classroom as only the launching pad that you need, the springboard to being able to do the work that you want to do and to communicate that effectively, whether that's with the undergraduates, with your peers in the classroom, or in the larger discipline that you may be in. There are some things that as a first-generation college student I studied a lot about in my own doctoral journey. And some of that is the socialization practices that occur during graduate education. You are going to be embedded within a particular culture, within that department, within your program, and then within the larger discipline. And a lot of our work as faculty is to usher you through that socialization so that you know how to speak the lingo, how to navigate difficult waters, right, in presenting your work and articulating your perspective. Some of these may be controversial. Some of these may be tensions that you may experience within the classroom, with your peers, and even with faculty. But part of that is that we all need to be open to learning, and that includes your faculty as well, and being able to be held accountable to talking about critical issues that reflect multiple perspectives, not just your own lived experience. And so for many of you, you're going to be interacting with students who are different from you, who come from different walks of life, different perspectives. And so I hope that you will be open to engaging in that kind of conversation, because that's where the real learning also occurs. So that's some aspects to think about with socialization. There are going to be times where you're going to feel like you're an imposter, and there's entire literature that looks at imposter syndrome with graduate students in particular. And it's kind of thinking, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve to be here, they made a mistake when they admitted me. And I want to be able to say, you may not hear this very often, but you were chosen for a reason. We look through and cull through a lot of applications. And so we are invested in your potential. There was something in your application, through your recommendation letters, through your personal statement, through your CVs or your resumes, that said that we wanted to be able to claim you as one of our alumni. And so because of that, I want you to, in the darkest of nights, right, or way too early in the morning, I want you to think about this and say, that's what's going to drive you, right, is knowing that you deserve to be here and that to take advantage of every opportunity that you can. Now, some of that also may mean that you take classes outside of even your discipline. If many of you have concentrations or minors, to consider taking a class in a completely different area, to just broaden your knowledge, to think about how can I apply different kinds of theories into my own work? How can I understand the perspectives of different communities and think about that within my work? I also think about this, especially for the doctoral students. It is all about the hustle. You have to have 5 people on your dissertation committee, and not all those 5 people can be part of your department. So if you're looking for a methodologist, go find one somewhere around campus, right? Try to learn and gain that social network, because you never know. These are people who are going to write letters for you, for fellowships, for postdoctoral programs, for faculty positions, and for positions out there in industry. So the relationships that you are building now are going to reap, you're going to reap the benefits of that in 5 years, tomorrow, 10 years. There are still faculty that I look to be my mentors and my supporters. And that gets to my final point. There is a difference between an advisor and a mentor. Your advisor is there to help usher you through curriculum, guidelines, policies on a campus, maybe access opportunities to social networks in this area where you can do externships or internships or do some research studies. But a mentor is someone who can make a lifelong commitment to you in the long term to help you navigate through all of life's issues, so that we understand you as a whole person, not just the person within a specific discipline. And so that's part of the mentorship that you should be receiving. And they may be your advisor, which is great, but it may also be a different faculty member. It may be someone from across the country. So seek those opportunities for both mentorship from faculty, but also your peers. Your peers can also offer mentorship to you. I wish you the very best on this journey, and know that what you're doing it's a critical journey that you're taking. We want you to be the critical thinkers the knowledge producers. We want you to educate our next generation of students. And we also want you to address some of our social inequities and injustices that are occurring in our world. So help us to do that. Be engaged and take action. Thank you.
Hi, good morning. My name's Colin Phillips. I am starting my 18th year here at the University of Maryland. And some of the things I want to say will echo things that have gone before, but I will try not to be too redundant. My basic message is get outside, and get outside in lots of different ways. Especially want to welcome international students here. It was 27 years ago that I was a fresh off the boat international student. I still remember very clearly how it was. I thought I spoke the same language and had an advantage there. I didn't. But you've already made a big step to get outside, and congratulations to you. I want to start with an example of something you shouldn't try to emulate in getting outside, and that's my cat. My cat is very interested in getting out, and as a beginning graduate student, this may be something that is very present to you. I mean, you're getting out of a program, my cat is interested in getting out at the front door. My cat looks longingly for this goal. It's outside the window, it's beautiful, there's plants, there's dogs, there's all kinds of things. And he has no plan for what he's going to do when he gets out there. He bolts, he makes it out the door, and then he thinks, oh crap, I had no idea what I was going to do once I get there. That's not what you want to do. You want to be ready so that when you get out, you're going to be ready for the world that lies there. So first, get outside your comfort zone. Okay, that's something that you're going to need to be able to do again and again and again. What you're learning now is going to be whatever is cool and hot in your field right now, but you're going to be at the peak of your career maybe in the 2030s and the 2040s. And what is hot now had better not be hot in the 2030s and the 2040s. So you need to not only learn new things, you need to learn how to keep learning new things and keep adapting as the world changes, because that's what's going to keep you sustained for many years to come. In so doing, you don't learn so much when you're right. When you're right, you sort of, you didn't know anything more than you knew before. You learn when you're interestingly wrong. So be wrong, be interestingly wrong, and enjoy being wrong. It's really cool. I mean, I get to enjoy that a lot. Second, get outside the traditional curriculum and the traditional pathways. The US model for graduate education, integrating teaching and research, goes back to the late 19th century. A lot of this happened at Johns Hopkins down the road. It's had a wonderful impact, but graduate training is changing, graduate career pathways are changing, and curricula are very conservative. So the kinds of things that are expected of you as new graduates go beyond what is provided for you as the basic curriculum. Most graduate curriculums nowadays, let's say at the PhD level, prepare you to be a professor in the 1960s. And there are not many jobs available as professors in the 1960s these days. So scholarship is changing. There are more diverse ways of communication. There's different ways of collaboration that are expected of you right now. There's a lot of more attention to the diverse career pathways that you're going to be prepared for. But even if you're pursuing an academic career, academic careers are not what they used to be. People are expected to be entrepreneurial, they're expected to be collaborate more, communicate more effectively. Everything is different, and that requires that you be more proactive in doing things that probably go beyond what your basic curriculum is preparing you to do. That includes, you need to take initiative and take ownership of your own training. The most successful graduate students are the ones who take control, they take ownership of themselves, of their programming, and echoing what has been already said before, good mentoring doesn't just happen to you, you make it happen for you. You have to go out there and seek it. Third, get outside your advisor's shadow. Your advisor is a wonderful person, I'm sure, and they have many things to impart, but your job is not to become their clone. Your job is to be your own person. And you're going to be your own person, you're preparing to be a leader long after your advisor is washed up. So connect and collaborate, talk with peers, borrow ideas, borrow different scientific cultures, get conflicting advice. It's good to get conflicting advice because then you have to deal with it and make your own choices. And figure out what your own values are. There are going to be some things that your own advisor sees as most important, but they may not be your own values. Figure out what your own values are and follow those. Work effectively with your advisors, but don't be a copy. Fourth, get outside your department and your institution. That's not just a little thing to do. Do it as much as you can. There's great opportunities to do that. You can meet people from other programs. You can learn things from them. You can go to one of the universities in the US or abroad. You heard a little bit about it in what Jeff Franke was telling you earlier. The opportunities through the Big Ten really are important academically. It's not just about football. We didn't believe it when we said we joined, but it's really true. This University Task 21 Alliance, it really is very useful. It gives you a gateway to lots of great universities around the world, and there's other great international programs. It's a bit like Star Alliance or Sky Team, but for universities. And get outside the ivory tower. The DC area really does have amazing resources, and you can plug into all kinds of things that you wouldn't be able to in many other college towns. Fifth, get outside help. Mental health is a big issue for graduate students. You're all talented people, you're all accomplished, but it's remarkable how many graduate students deal with mental health issues through the course of graduate school. If you're not anxious, then you're unusual, okay? This happens to a lot of people. It's a very stressful time. Your advisor or your mentors may be able to help, your peers may be able to help, but there's a lot of resources available on this campus to help you. There are a lot of professionals who know how to deal with this, and you're not a bad person for seeking those out. You're really not. That's very normal, and that's really totally appropriate and totally real, and you will do better as a result. And finally, just get outside already, like outdoors. The College Park has a fantastic network of bike trails, forests, parks, lakes. Most people have no idea it's there. I'm out there almost every morning. I go biking, running on the trails. I was out there this morning. And it's a great way to work on your own mental health, and often the best ideas come when you're doing that. That's how I got the idea for what I was talking about now today. I was running down the street and like, oh, duh, that's what I want to do. There are opportunities to meet up with people. One example I'll plug for, we have a joint College Park Park Run. It's a group that gets together every Saturday morning just off campus. We meet, we get together, we walk, we run, we go for coffee afterwards on a local trail. Through doing that, in the last year I've met with the mayor, with construction workers, with 4-year-olds, with 80-year-olds, with people who I've never met, and vastly expanded the group of people I get to know. And it's created all kinds of ways of connecting outside the bubble that you easily live in. And any of these things, come talk to me at lunch. That's a way of, communicate, get outside your comfort zone. I'll be down there at barbecue, ask me about any of these things. And remember, don't be like my cat.
Thank you very much to our distinguished faculty. I think we can all agree with their comments, insights, suggestions that have all been very helpful. One last round of applause. Thank you very much. We appreciate your time.
Welcome to the University of Maryland Graduate School Periodic Table of Graduate Success. Here to help you understand the elements
Whoa. Need a graduate student in technology. They'll fix it in a second. They're working on it now. You must have 3 master's students and 2 PhDs working on this at this very moment. And they're collaborating. While we're waiting, I'd echo the committee's recommendations that it's a stressful time, but I've been here a long time. It's really worth it to get out. Your world ends up being in this bubble of your discipline and finishing your master's thesis, your dissertation, and sometimes you kind of forget there's another world. It's like if you remember when you were in elementary school and you looked out the window and you see people walking by and you say, wow, there's another world out there. And people live, and it's the same thing here. You know, where the Nats are playing downtown, we have the Orioles up in Baltimore. If you're into sports, not to mention our own teams here. It was mentioned the science foundations, NIH and IST, they always have programs, lectures, and so forth. So it's really a wonderful...
Back to it, you know, we're on?
I stand corrected. Never mind.
I promise you it's not about parasites.
When you think of x-rays, you might think about your last traumatic visit to the dentist or the first time you broke a bone. But x-rays are not just produced in doctors' offices. They also exist in space. X-rays come from some of the largest, hottest, and most energetic objects in the universe. They are emitted from million-degree gas spiraling into black holes, the explosive death of massive stars, and from gas between galaxies that live in clusters. These objects hold keys to questions that astronomers have spent long nights and countless computer hours trying to solve, like how do black holes grow and shape their home galaxies? Where does dark matter like to live, and why there? Hitomi was an X-ray satellite that was recently launched to answer these questions. A detector on board, built by my group at NASA, would transform light from these faraway objects into patterns of lines. Each spectral line is a unique signature of a certain element, like oxygen, and allows us to learn about the environment in which it lives, maybe spewing out from near the center of a black hole. In contrast to the high precision of Hitomi, detectors on older satellites would give spectra of fat, bumps, and wiggles, blending together and confusing this crucial information. About a month after Hitomi's launch, a software glitch made the satellite spin itself into oblivion, flinging solar panels and scientific instruments into space. Luckily, Hitomi performed one observation of a cluster of galaxies called Perseus before it was lost, but something was off. Thanks to the improved detector technology, we could see better, and we realized how much we didn't know. The models we were using to understand the Perseus spectrum could not explain many of the features we saw. Some of the lines in these models were misplaced or even missing, meaning our calculations of temperatures, densities, and concentrations of elements present could be wrong. The problem? We don't understand enough of the basic atomic physics behind the creation of these spectral features. I'm working on this problem so that we get our science right. I do something called laboratory astrophysics. I perform and analyze data from experiments done in labs on Earth that reproduce conditions that exist in space. I use a giraffe-sized instrument called an electron beam ion trap, or an EBIT, to shoot electrons through gas to create ions. I determine how processes affecting those ions on quantum scales express themselves through the X-ray light they emit. I use a Hitomi-style detector to precisely measure the spectra of environments like the Perseus cluster, and I collaborate with theorists to use my data to verify current spectral models and soon create more accurate ones. There is hope that we will launch a successor to Hitomi, which will observe black holes and stellar explosions with unprecedented resolution. My laboratory predictions will enable us to better interpret these observations and this time get our science right.
So that was Gabrielle Betancourt Martinez, a PhD candidate in the Department of Astronomy and our winner in 2016. And I will say is that I actually met in Pete's on 14th Street in DC, the Hitomi director from NASA, and because of listening to her video, I sounded smart. So he almost hired me, okay. What I want to do now is introduce that the graduate school staff has prepared a brief video presentation that sort of summarizes some of the resources that we have available for you. You saw a little glimpse of it, so now we will go and see the full video presentation.
Welcome to the University of Maryland Graduate School Periodic Table of Graduate Success, here to help you understand the elements to a successful graduate career. Throughout this presentation, we will discuss the elements of the graduate school resources, and units with which we collaborate on campus. The first element that you will use daily in your academic career is the graduate school website, gradschool.umd.edu. Our website is your source for all information about graduate school, including the forms that are essential in your academic career, critical facts about deadlines, policies, and procedures that impact your progress, and a calendar full of events to support your academic and professional career, and events that might be of interest to you and your families. So make sure to check the graduate school calendar of events daily at gradschool.umd.edu/calendar. Always check the graduate school website located at gradschool.umd.edu. Make it your first stop every morning for updates and information on key elements to your success. Another element here to help you through your academic journey is the Graduate School Information Center. When you need in-person assistance with paperwork, or if any unexpected issues arise that impact your academic progress, the Graduate School Information Center is here to assist you. The Graduate School Information Center is located in 2123 Lee Building and open daily Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. with extended hours as necessary. The third element critical to your success is to start planning now. Set a course for your academic career and let the graduate school staff help you get there. The graduate school staff, led by the dean, is here to support you on your road to success. Another critical element to being successful in your academic career is preparation. The graduate school offers many resources to help you prepare for and meet the challenges of graduate study. These programs are here to enhance and ensure the success of our diverse graduate student body. They include programs and resources on professional and career development. The Graduate School Writing Center, located in McKeldin Library, offers thesis and dissertation retreats, workshops, consultations, and writing support groups, and funding and fellowship opportunities. The Graduate School's Office of Funding Opportunities offers travel and conference grants and research and dissertation awards for current students, as well as resources and training to help students find external funding. For all of this and more, remember to go to gradschool.umd.edu. Take advantage of these graduate school programs, workshops, and online links to ensure that you end not just with a diploma in hand, but with a career too. The next element to your success is support. Here at the graduate school, we know that your success depends on the University of Maryland being a welcoming, safe environment no matter your background, and we consider each of our students to be an integral part of our graduate community. So we are committed to fostering a supportive environment for all graduate students, regardless of race, ethnicity, nationality, gender, age, religion, language, sexual orientation, disability, or academic discipline. UMD recognizes that the unique and varied identities and experiences of our graduate students enrich the campus community as a whole. Through the Office of Graduate Diversity and Inclusion, or OGDI as it is called, the Graduate School provides campus leadership to recruit, retain, and support a diverse graduate body, which supports the University of Maryland's diversity mission. OGDI's programs, which are open to all of our students, include activities for spouses, partners, and families of graduate students, PhD completion workshops, recruitment and retention activities, and activities to build community. A few more elements for graduate school success. Sometimes you need a neutral third party to help mediate situations you cannot resolve on your own. For those situations, the Graduate School Ombuds Officer is available to assist. Professor Mark Shaman is located in 2100F Lee Building and available by appointment by contacting Dr. Shaman at shaman@umd.edu. Now, to show what you've learned and just for fun, tweet something you discovered about graduate school at Maryland during this presentation and include the hashtag GSNSO2017. I'll give everyone a few seconds to tweet and then make sure you click to follow the grad school at UMD Grad School once you've tweeted your post. Because the saying, all work and no play is true, the graduate school partners with Graduate Student Life to help build a community of graduate students, their spouses, partners, and families. Graduate Student Life, known as GSL, is located in 0121 of the Stamp Student Union. They offer weekly free coffee breaks and organize a monthly social series for graduate students. GSL also has a weekly e-newsletter with updates and information. Watch for this to be delivered to your inbox. They have craft nights, family-friendly programming, and grad student kickoff. Make sure you check them out. The graduate school collaborates with many units across campus to support your development and help you reach your potential. This includes graduate student government, graduate student legal aid, the International Student and Scholar Services Unit, the Teaching and Learning Transformation Center, the President's Promise and Career Center, Student Health Center, and the University Office of Diversity and Inclusion. We hope you'll find that all these elements make your time here rewarding, enjoying time and growing as a family, meeting new people and trying new things, and celebrating your major accomplishments. Just remember the graduate school is here to support you through this whole process. Stay connected with us through social media and remember to go to our website daily. We hope that this information will be helpful to you. Good luck.
Now, I'm sure that you're wondering, how much more can I absorb? We have provided a lot of information in a short amount of time. You received a magnet with a graduate school contact information, which will help you find what you saw and heard about in the presentation. The best place to start in seeking the answer to your question is our website, gradschool.umd.edu. Pretty easy link to remember, or you can email us at gradschool@umd.edu and just click on the student banner. So before we hear from one of our many accomplished alumni, I would like to play one final 3MT video for you featuring Dr. Amy Marquardt, who graduated in December 2015 from the Department of Materials Science and Engineering and is now a postdoctoral researcher at the University of Colorado Boulder, for the 3MT video.
When I was a little girl, I was fascinated by the people that came before me and their history. In the 5th grade, I even helped unearth objects created by a vanished culture. When you think about it, it's pretty amazing that we even have a lot of these ancient objects in museums throughout the world, given they're under constant attack from corrosive gases in the environment that cause severe damage. Silver, a metal prized throughout history, is especially susceptible to tarnishing. I'm sure you've noticed the black silver sulfide tarnish layer that you have to polish off your jewelry at home. While polishing may seem harmless, it actually damages the object by removing metal. So with too much polishing, you'll lose all of the fine details at the surface. The best way to protect your silver is to apply a coating, and currently museums use a plastic coating that lasts about 10 years. At that 10-year mark, the coating has to be removed, the silver polished, and a new coating applied. For museums with thousands of silver objects, this creates a nearly constant cycle of damage and recoating. My research is looking to break that cycle by creating a new coating enabled by nanotechnology. I'm looking at replacing the plastic coating with a new transparent ceramic coating that I apply one atomic layer at a time. This technique is called atomic layer deposition, or ALD. And this atomic level control over the coating thickness allows me to create films that are nearly invisible. In fact, when I did a blind study with art conservators, they were unable to distinguish between a silver knife with an ALD coating and one without. By using these ceramic coatings instead of spongy plastic, corrosive gases take longer to move through the films. I compared how long the ceramic and plastic films would last by accelerating the natural aging process in the lab. I found that the ceramic ALD films lasted about 15 times longer than the plastic coatings. That's a huge improvement. For art conservators, this means that instead of every 10 years, they could wait 150 years before having to polish and reapply a coating. Additionally, I found a way to completely remove the ceramic films without damaging or significantly changing the silver object. This is a critical step if we ever want to use these films on real art objects. So not only do these ALD films last longer, but they can be removed without damage and reapplied in the future. Ever since I was little, I felt it was important to connect to the people that came before me through the objects they left behind. Advances in nanotechnology, especially ALD, allow us to better protect these objects so that one day we can pass them on to our future generations and they too can understand our common past.
To conclude this morning's program, I want to introduce to you a University of Maryland alumnus, Dr. John Bullock. Dr. Bullock received a doctorate in government and politics here at the University of Maryland. He has a master's in city and regional planning from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, and a BA from magna cum laude in political science from Hampton University. He is an assistant professor in the Department of Political Science at Towson University, where he teaches courses in urban politics and metropolitan study. But let me tell you why we invited him to speak. He is a model for how we see UMD graduate students alumni impacting their community. Dr. Bullock ran for Baltimore City Council last year and won. In addition, he was president of the Evergreen Protective Association, former member of the Baltimore Democratic City-State Central Committee. He serves on several boards of directors. He's also regularly contributes to media outlets, including the local ABC, NBC, and CBS affiliates, as well as Maryland Public Television. He is also a frequent guest on local public radio stations. Dr. Bullock will share with you this morning insights about his graduate career and what helped him be successful and how you can take advantage of the many opportunities for success at UMD. Dr. Bullock.
Well, thank you and good morning. Oh, come on, good morning. I know it's been a long day so far, but welcome to the University of Maryland. I always get a little nostalgic when I'm coming back here. I was literally sitting in your place 12 years ago. I just discontinued working in DC government. I was working in the executive office of the mayor and in transportation, and I met my then girlfriend, then fiance, now wife, and she had this idea about moving to Baltimore and becoming a teacher, and I had some money that I saved up from working, and I bought our first house and was taking this drive back to College Park, so it really got me a little bit nostalgic today. You know, you are on the flagship campus of the University of Maryland, and I do want to emphasize flag. How many of you are from Maryland? Just raise your hand, I'm curious, right? So most of you are not from Maryland. Those of you from Maryland understand this. Those of you who are new will get it. You will see this flag of ours everywhere, right? This red and white and this black and gold, it's on everything that you'll see. You will come to love this flag. On my lapel is a piece of that flag. It's the city of Baltimore flag. But that whole history between the Lord Baltimore and all that, you will get to understand that. But our flag is everywhere. You'll see it on our sports teams. You'll see it on some of our information as well. But you're also part of a family. Wherever you go in the state, people recognize that you went through College Park. And many of my colleagues, actually about a little bit more than half of my colleagues at Towson University are actually alums of the University of Maryland at College Park. Now, some of you will wind up doing different things. You're all in different fields of study. Some of you will have different pathways. But at some point, you'll have to figure out what is your destination. You know, I thought it was very interesting hearing earlier about the cat who doesn't know what they want to do once they get out of the house. I have a cat, he does the same thing. Now, but you have to follow your path, and your path will not be like anyone else's, and that's okay. We're all going to different places, but I need you to stay focused. Stay focused on why it is that you came here and what it is that you seek to do. You know, some of us will take a traditional path, some will take a non-traditional path. I've sought to do a little bit of both along in this journey. And so part of my interest when I got here at the university was on the application of politics. I just come out of working in government. I was always interested in what could be possible in government, but I was also interested in the academic side of it, teaching it, doing more research about it, because I was using my lived experience to guide where it is that I wanted to go. We also have different perspectives here that are great. So when I got my master's, I was fresh out of undergrad. When I got here to Maryland, I'd worked for almost 3 years, and it helped guide what it was that I wanted to do. And that can be very useful as a student because you can learn from your peers. Some of you who are fresh out of undergrad have some new and cutting edge ways of doing things. Some of you who have been out in the field working will also have a knowledge of what happens in the field that you can bring to the classroom, and we all benefit from that. This is also a time for you to grow your network. Everyone that's in a class of yours, everyone that's in your department, everyone that you interact with, they can become part of that network. And what's also great in terms of this peer relationship are the diverse perspectives, right? There are people here from different backgrounds in terms of geography, also racial and ethnic backgrounds, which are great. Coming from different perspectives allows us all to grow. I just look around this room, and you can look around this room, and you just see what it looks like. And it's beautiful. And this is what we want to see, not only here, but in other classrooms and other places where we find ourselves. The one thing I also love from being around peers is positive peer pressure. You're going to see some of your colleagues working. What are you working on? What are you interested in? And it might push you to work on something maybe different, maybe similar, maybe you'll link up together. But these are great opportunities for you to grow. Even your profession, you are now part of your profession. So whatever professional association there is, right? So I think about the American Society of Political Scientists, right? Or I think about other organizations that exist that I'm a part of. And I go to those conferences. And as a student, you might get an opportunity. I encourage you to go to some of those conferences. You may be presenting. You may be presenting with someone else submitting a paper. You also may just be going to gather information about your research or meeting other people who are working within your field. But we all need a support system. That support system can be a personal one, professional one, hopefully a combination of both. You guys are going to be working hard, and we all know about those things that are coming up, like comprehensive exams. If you haven't started thinking about that, right about halfway through, you're going to take all your coursework, and then you're going to take an exam that's going to demonstrate your facility of that knowledge. Now, we're all bright folks, but having a study group can be helpful. I know we had a study group where we were talking about what kinds of things happened in previous exams and how can we share some of our information and prepare. And then we also think about that dissertation phase when you're writing and you're trying to make this thing happen, you're trying to get out the door. But it's important for you to have a writing group because then we can hold each other accountable and say, well, how are you doing on this chapter? Have you written your next chapter? Where are you going? Can I take a look at that? Let's proofread that. Let's work together to do some of those things. It is true that perseverance is going to be key to you making it. You know, there are going to be days where you'll feel quite challenged, days you may feel discouraged, but you do have to keep moving forward. One of the ways that I find and I found to move forward was finding a hobby. Now, I don't care what it is that you do, but you need to find something to do outside of this academic pursuit. Something, doesn't matter, but it helps to relieve stress. So for me, two things that I discovered in grad school. One, that my wife introduced me to was yoga. Found it to be quite stress relieving. It helped me in terms of breathing, in terms of relaxation, in terms of meditation and focus. Also great physical discipline. The other thing that I discovered or rediscovered in graduate school was actually running. So I'd happened to be a runner in high school, ran cross country, ran the 800 meters, was pretty good. Got a scholarship to run track, but I also had an academic scholarship, so I just did the academic thing, got away from running. But while I was here on this campus, I was inching toward my 30th birthday. And I was like, you know, maybe it's time to get back engaged athletically. And so I decided to run my first marathon when I turned 30. And it was the Baltimore Marathon, and I prepared for it, I trained for it, completed the marathon. It was great. Feel great all the time. I'll tell you, when I got to mile 18 of that 26-mile race, things started tightening up a little bit, but I kept on going, kept on persevering, getting to that finish line. And there'll be times here where you'll hit that 18th mile or that 20th mile, and you may think you can't go forward, but there was always someone along the way when I was running that marathon and say, you can do it, you're going over that hill. And you have to do that for each other. You have to do that for each other as well. And that getting back in touch with running has really been something that has changed my life now, because I still engage in running. And I had to pull my watch off to make sure I was okay with time, because I know that I'm standing between you and lunch. And I don't want to do that, and we know that we can all be long-winded when we need to be, or by nature, so I want to make sure that I don't do that. But this lifelong habit has been something. So in the last few years, I've continued running half marathons. I have a 12-mile race coming up. I'm running the Marine Corps Marathon this year. And so I stress to you that the habits that you pick up here in grad school can be great things that will follow you throughout the rest of your life. Now, I also would advise you to seek out experiences that will help you to grow. This may sound very simple, but one thing that may help you along the way is reading your emails. You laugh, but I'm telling you, reading your emails helps. Now I have two phones given what I do now, and I read a lot of emails, but this is what I mean in terms of grad school. All types of opportunities, experiences will come to you via email. You know, I'll give you an example, right? So before I finished here at Maryland, I was also teaching. So I taught a couple classes here at Maryland. I wound up teaching some classes at Towson before I came there on a full-time basis. And the reason why I started doing that, I read an email that said, hey, we're looking for instructors. I said, I'm interested in teaching. I might want to do that. And so I applied, and that's also what opened the door for me to being at Towson, because I created relationships with some of the other faculty members, with some of the students. I already had a body of work in terms of dealing with students that I could look back on my evaluations and all of that. So look at these emails. Research the opportunities that are available and apply to them. You never know what you may wind up getting. It's also part of the reason why I got a dissertation fellowship, because I was reading emails and said, wait a minute, that's an opportunity for me. Why not take advantage of that? I applied and I got it. One other thing that happened too while I was here, I knew coming in that I wanted to have this mix of something traditional and non-traditional. So I knew that I always had to stay engaged in community work and neighborhood work and even in government. So one of the things that I did, I applied to a mayoral fellowship in Baltimore. And that mayoral fellowship allowed me to get my foot into city government, to meet different people. One of my friends now that I met that summer back in 2008, he's now a state senator, or he's running for state senate, he's state delegate now, and I met him in the mayor's office, and it's interesting because my job that summer was working for the housing commissioner, and now I find myself as the chair of the Housing and Urban Affairs Committee on the Baltimore City Council. And so being able to connect those dots has been quite useful, and you never know where these things wind up. I say that to say that I also wanted to be intentional, and I want you to be intentional. You know, every step that you make, everything you do is going to propel you, hopefully, toward the goal that you have. And some of that is going to require you to step outside of your comfort zone, doing something different. I had a professor here at the University of Maryland in the government and politics department, and he said to me, he noticed that I was a little bit, my path was maybe a little bit different. I was interested in urban government. I was interested in applied politics. He said, you know, you will have to become comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I was like, comfortable with being uncomfortable. And what I took from that is I had to put myself into different circumstances. And some of them would allow me to grow because I had to develop different capabilities, different skill sets, which were very useful. And being intentional in that way and step out of the comfort zones really laid this path of now being able to do some of the media things I do and working in government and then also teaching. So it was really my neighborhood work. I got involved in my church in Baltimore, which led me to community organizing and doing some of my research, which led to my dissertation on community organizing both in Baltimore and in Washington, because I knew that I was interested in working in government again. And a lot of that research that I did in Baltimore allowed me to step into certain places and really utilize that knowledge. And as far as your work in terms of master's theses and doctoral dissertations, you want to make sure that you're doing something every day that's going to put you closer to your goal. It might be writing a paragraph, it might be writing a sentence, it might be doing some research, doing some interviews, doing some experiments, but make sure you're doing something every day. Now, you're all adults here, and you should recognize that life happens. Life goes on. So while I was here at Maryland, got married, got a dog, got a cat, and right before I defended my dissertation, my first son was born, so I was dealing with my wife being pregnant, right? I was running a marathon, all that. Life happens, and that's okay, because you need to be a multidimensional person. And so just make sure that as life happens, that you're keeping everything in a perspective boundary, right? And also, some of you may have spouses. That's also part of your support system. And so you'll need that person to lean on. There'll be times where things will seem crazy, but just know and believe that you will get through it. Some of you may be working already. Some of you may begin a career while you're still in graduate school, but you need to make sure you're staying focused on finishing. The last thing that I'll say is really to enjoy the ride. Enjoy it. You know, I thought about my time here. I spent a lot of time in this building, in the Stamp Student Union. Whether I was going to get some lunch, I was preparing for classes, I was reading because I wasn't going to go home, drive away to Baltimore between classes. So I would be here, I would do some reading, I might go over to the library. Enjoy this time. You know, you have the opportunity to read, to grow, to learn, to reflect, to have conversations that you may never have an opportunity to have again. I'm fortunate that one of my colleagues at the university is actually one of my classmates here from Maryland. And so we came in around the same time, we left around the same time, we're both at the same institution. But very rarely do you get the opportunity to have the rich dialogue, communication that you'll have on this campus. But also, don't be scared to venture away from campus. I know some folks made this point earlier, right? You look at the off-campus life, whether we're talking about Washington, D.C., or Baltimore. Come on up 95. We'd love to have you. I was at an Orioles game yesterday, you know, or go down to the National Stadium. Enjoy a baseball game. You might even you will get a discount. Use that student ID. It's worth a discount. I remember my wife and I, we get into games for $5 with our student ID. So make sure you utilize that. You know, you never know. Those are all great things you can do. Great restaurants. Not necessarily expensive, but get out there. Enjoy some different types of food, ethnic food. Enjoy it. It's a great place to be. Concerts, museums, all of that will help enrich you. It'll help take your mind off of some of the things you're dealing with here. But understand that you are in a great place to learn, to grow. I love the University of Maryland. I'm sure that you will come to love it too. I've enjoyed being in front of you today. I cherish the experience, and I hope that you will too. So thank you for the opportunity to address you this morning. Take care now.
Thank you, Dr. Bullock. As we come to the conclusion today, I think you saw a lot of the same things through. I want to say thank you to Dr. Chen and everybody upstairs in the Colony Ballroom and for all that you've done. So there's a lot of food for thought, but guess what? This is going to be your first free meal as a graduate student. Yeah. And so, you know, one of many that you will get. This is not pizza. The rest of them will be pizza, you know, and things like that. So I want to say, again, thank you for coming. Welcome to the University of Maryland. We're here to help you. We're here. We're committed to your success. We're committed to celebrating with you. If you need something, you know where to go. You know, I look forward to meeting every one of you during the school year. I meet with students as frequently as I can. So take the opportunity to come to the, come over and have coffee with me and the other people in the staff. But now I'd like to introduce our guest here to escort us to the mall. And you'll all recognize him many times as you come across. Let me introduce Testudo. So Testudo will now take you to the McKeldin Mall and grow grad terps. Thank you.